And my husband worked for American Airlines. We had an insurance man to come to the house, and he told us all about the race riot. He was there. But you know, I didn't hear anything about it after that. It was as if Tulsa just swept it under the rug.
Oh my. Well, my husband was transferred to Tulsa, to American, back in the day, and they put us up in a house over on Pine. It was in North Tulsa, but it wasn't called that back then. And we lived there for a while, and then we moved away. But we came back in 1980 when my daughter had her first baby. Oh, but the real estate agent, she made quite a fuss about us not living north of Admiral. I mean, she even said, oh, it's dangerous. They've even had a race massacre. It was horrible. But we had lived there before, and it wasn't bad. But you could tell they really didn't want us living there.
Well, I grew up in Minnesota, ran away when I was 18 with a girlfriend of mine. We went to Florida. She was engaged to a beau down there. I met my husband there. He was in the band of the Air Force there, yes. And we ended up having to move back here because his family was here from Tulsa. And we rode on the Greyhound from Florida to here. And well, on that bus, well, I hate to kind of say, it was a lot of different kind of people on the bus, and I was kind of afraid because I had heard stories about black people, but I had never seen any. But to be truthful, on that bus, they looked like normal people. I really didn't have anything to be afraid of or worried about.
Well, I practically grew up in Tulsa. Came here in 41. My daddy drove still. And I went to school at Hamilton Junior High School. We heard about the riot. It was a tragic thing. But I don't agree that it had to happen.
When I think of Oklahoma, I think of a Trail of Tears. I've got Cherokee in me. So, not only do I come from survivors of the Greenwood Massacre, I come from Native Americans who were forced upon this land too.
You know, Tulsa's a great place to raise children.
Yes.
I've always said that. And you know, we even like Will Rogers.
I came to Oklahoma in 1985. And even though I've been here longer than I've been anywhere else, I almost never claim Oklahoma as my home.
Well, I was coming here from Houston. And when I got here, it looked like I was going back to the beyond.
Yes.
I'm embarrassed to say I'm from Oklahoma. Not just because of the race riot, which we can't even get the state to talk about, but because of the way we incarcerate women of color, our educational system, the two-facedness of churches.
You know, the girls, they have so much room to run and play. It's wide open spaces, and you know, it feels really safe. After a while, we even got fairly into square dancing.
After my last arrest, after the Brady Street protest, I was done. I decided Tulsa was not my home anymore. I packed up and moved back to Africa, to Nigeria.
You know, one of the things we like to do with the girls here, sometimes we went down and I would let my girls swim with the black family down the way in the swimming pool, you know. And one time I wrote a letter to my mom and took a picture and put it in there, because that's how I keep updated on what we're doing with the girls and everything. And man, let me tell you, she wrote me back such a letter using words that I didn't even know she was capable of. She was upset that my girls were in the same pool as black people. I was shocked.
You know, if I were to write a play about Tulsa, I'd be sure to talk about how many times we came back, rebuilt. That's Black Wall Street to me. Not just the massacre, but you know, the one with the soul, the spirit.
I came back to Tulsa because it was impressed upon me that I have a much larger role to play here. Ancestors fought back from slavery within generations could read and run their own businesses. I came back to help our people take back what is rightfully theirs. Oh yes, we're coming back.
I'm a crossing guard now. You know why so? And I deal with finest black children in Oklahoma. One little boy, he came and brought me a note one day and said that I was the finest crossing guard he ever had.
Well, I'm embarrassed to say this. It really bothers me, but we used to have a black man and his kids that we played with down at the creek. We called him Nigger Charlie, and his children were pickaninnies. Oh, it gives me chills to say that today. We didn't know it was wrong back then, and I wish I could go back and change things.
I hated school. We weren't taught about our own culture. And then, when we would bring things up that we learned at home about black people, white kids, we get all defensive and mad, and we get in trouble for starting something. It was like we were set up to fail.
I'm made up of Ethiopia and Cherokee, black and red. Black and black before whites came to Oklahoma and tried to divide us. Oklahoma, the first all-black state.
You know what we used to do? We used to take the children down to Discovery Land and see them play Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, I enjoyed taking the children, the grandchildren, to see Oklahoma to play. You know, to show a little bit of our history about how our state became a state.
You know, one of the things that we were afraid of when we first moved to Tulsa, it was the Indians.
Oh, goodness. This way.
Hey, what are you this year?
I'm just a paper boy. I wanted to work in one of those confectionery shops.
Ah, confectionery. Man, candy stores are the best. Listen, man, when you get older, you'll get to do more. See, when I was in second grade, I was a delivery boy, and I got to buy chicken for this lady who needed it for a cafe. This year, now that I'm in the 4th grade, I get to run my own butcher shop.
The Greenwood Massacre happened in 1921, right here on Greenwood Avenue. Just past the I-244 overpass is the block that is known as the 100th block of Black Wall Street.
Boom in Greenwood. Man, I love this time of year. You know, maybe next year I'll get to be a lawyer or a banker. You know, some of my class.
It was nicknamed Black Wall Street by Booker T. Washington in the early 20th century. He saw how business was booming and how independent blacks were here, and thought that Tulsa could be the metropolitan black mecca of the Southwest.
Why are we here?
I don't know, I'm so bored.
Hey. Hey, straighten up and pay attention. You might learn some important history here that all Tulsans need to know.
I wanted to own one of the theaters.
Which one, Dixie or Dreamland?
Dreamland, definitely. It was bigger.
Black Wall Street boasted over 600 businesses, several churches, 2 libraries, and 2 theaters. The Dreamland Theater was the only vaudevillian theater owned and operated by a black woman. After the massacre in 1921, many blacks rebuilt in just a year's time. Mrs. Lula T. Williams was one of the first to get her theater back up and running. In 1927, Count Basie even played there, and he talked about how much he loved coming to Tulsa.
Who the heck is Count Basie?
Famous jazz musician.
What's jazz?
Yo.
It's funny to watch white kids trying to play black people.
I don't care. Let them be black for a month, even if they suck at it, man.
On Thursdays and Sundays, blacks who worked in the white section of Tulsa will get the day off and there will be a parade in the street. Residents would wave from their windows and shop owners might even give gifts or treats.
Oh my gosh, do we get something at the end of this?
You better.
I hope we don't have a quiz or anything.
Dude, I hope not. I have no idea what's going on.
Well, you should have been paying attention. You might have learned something important.
She's not talking about us. She's talking about black people, and that has nothing to do with us.
Y'all.
You know, when I think of North Tulsa, I think of those commercials that are advertising medicine. You know how you have a couple skipping through the forest or along the beach, and the sun is out, and they're just so happy, and everything seems all good, right? But then you start to hear the voiceover with all the side effects. Yes, that's how I think of North Tulsa. You know, like how on the surface everything's all good. Everybody goes to church or has nice clothes and cars and houses and stuff like that. But then you start to dig under the surface. Then you see all the racism, all the money that's not being put where it's supposed to, and all the land that's being stolen but then getting covered up. Yeah, that's how I think of North Tulsa. Just cross over into North Tulsa and you'll see what they're trying to hide.
Your Tulsa is not my Tulsa.
People would have no reason to cross over to North Tulsa.
South Tulsa has a Walmart on every corner, 10 restaurants every block, a school every mile, malls, grocery stores. Why would anyone want to come to North Tulsa?
Right. I mean, it would be nice for them to see it and get it. You know what I mean? Get it?
I mean, you think they'll get it, right? They blame us for our own conditions. They build their own mall and blame us for not building our own. They build their own park, their own house. Please.
That's why we have to do it at our own, together. Ancestors didn't rely on white people, and neither can we.
You know, after the massacre, a lot of the survivors blamed each other. Some even said that the reason why that the massacre happened was because the two races couldn't find a way to come together. The Red Cross stated that it was our own government who had plans to take back the land, and they enlisted poor blacks to help.
I don't believe that.
So you don't believe some black people that put themselves above other black people?
I mean, there were houses magically left untouched that night by the mob. It's like an Oklahoma tornado. Destroy one, there's one right next to it. Dust unsettled.
Well, if we're gonna dig and tell the whole story, then we've got to talk about the Klan. Because there's no way that the incident with Dick and Sarah could cause all of this. No way you can make me believe that.
You really want to dig? We gotta start talking about the Tulsa government. How they changed the fire codes only 2 days after the massacre, preventing our people to come back and rebuild.
Yes.
We gotta start talking about Brady.
Right.
Talk about Leroy Chapman.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
My father was murdered with 5 bullets in his back after he made headway to rebuild Black Wall Street. I'm not even sure I can talk about that.
You want to dig? When we start digging down, you dig in. Dig in your heels, hold tight to lies, pile on layers of dirt. You want to dig foundations for condos and retail? You want to dig ballparks and parking lots? Dig this. Digging uncovers graves that hold truths and bones that rattle. And we will dig. Dig down to the bones of stolen lives buried under mounds of money and manufactured numbers. Spirits have been whispering on the wind, whispering for decades. But bones are not soft. They rattle and click. Shake loose your lives. Bones are not meant to be silent. Them bones go rise again. Them bones gonna talk again. You wanna dig? Dig this. Nothing stays buried forever.
There you go.
Yeah. I was a member. I mean, we all were, right? Right. I remember Tulsa started recruiting around 1915. Tulsa had a big challenge by 1920. Right.
I've seen that movie. What was it called? Birth of a Nation? It was about how Negro men couldn't keep their hands off pure white women.
Right.
So the Klan had to form again to help keep these girls safe.
Right.
Stuff about colored men can't keep their hands and control themselves around our women.
Right.
I went to a rally over in Indiana before 21. There was a speaker there. Said the best way to increase your membership is to start a riot.
Start a riot.
It made sense to me.
It made sense to me, buddy. Yo, keeping our membership wasn't no secret at all. We just passed out memberships by our meetings here and there, right and left. I said we're about to up around 3,000 around 21. That's right. You know what? I went down to that big old Dallas parade. Oh, almost a week before stuff started happening here in Tulsa. I had never heard of Tulsa before. When I heard about Tulsa, the man was walking down the street. You know, like something big was gonna happen. The man walking down the street, talking about Tulsa. That's what I heard about Tulsa.
As planned, Birth of a Nation premiered in Tulsa in the winter of 1915. Despite protests across the state, Klan membership increased rapidly after Tulsans saw the film.
Come on down to May Brothers Clothing Store and buy yourself a new special summer suit so you too can be part of the cool, glad Klan.
This was an ad that was placed in the Tulsa World, and mainly white newspaper in 1921.
You'll see in our windows the new 1921 styles for all KKK members. Membership or benefits of membership are cool style, exact fit, and lasting satisfaction. Oh, you young lady, I see you. You look like you got a nice young husband. Now I want you to come on down and buy himself a suit. Now you, sir, I like the way you look, nice and pale. I know you love yourself one of our suits. I know anybody would love our suits. You there! You should come on down and see me.
This is the story of the May brothers as we know it. In 1921, the May brothers were successful businessmen. They had stores in Tulsa, Bartlesville, and Oklahoma City. So, in 1921, in 1918 though, they were still known as Madansky.
What?
Madansky.
Wait a minute. Are we Jewish? Oh, I don't want to be Jewish in a time where the Klan is active. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Don't worry. All you have to do is just change your name. You'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be all right. We don't need to do that. We're respected businessmen. They'll leave us alone.
But they didn't.
Jews, Catholics, and blacks.
In 1921, Ben Madansky traveled with the Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce to Mexico. And when he tried to get back into his home country,
No. How do I know you're American?
I'm truly American. Me and my brother, we own some business in Oklahoma. Come on, you gotta let me back in. Hey, here.
This says your name is Madansky.
Madansky.
I still don't know that you're American. Can you prove your devotion to America?
Yeah.
Oklahoma?
To Tulsa?
Yeah, anything. Just let me back in my country.
The Medansky brothers tried to ignore the threats, but they kept coming. So finally, they placed an ad in the predominantly white Tulsa World.
Dear Oklahomans,
We who have been the Medansky brothers,
will now be known as the
May brothers,
We wish to prove ourselves wholly American
in every sense of the word.
Which leads us back to the ad that they placed in 1921, 1 week before the massacre.
Come on down to May Brothers clothing store and get your new special summer suit. Men who join the KKK get more and better clothes for their money. Yes.
The commission said that the ad is proof that the KKK is not a threat and that the ad is a joke.
Wait. So, the Medansky brothers get threatened by the KKK, change their name, and then run an ad pleading that they'll be as American as possible. And then a week before the massacre, they run an ad advertising clothing for the KKK. And then the commission report states that that's proof that they're not a threat to Tulsa. Interesting.
Nothing stays buried forever.
The sounds I hear in my nightmares are white men's voices. Voices that I know. People I've sat on councils with or heard at a PTA meeting. I was 9 or 10 in 1980 and I went to stay the night at my grandmother's house. There was this great banging on the front door. It was scary. When she opened the door, there was a sea of white hoods. That memory is burned forever in my memory. You might not believe me, but the Klan was standing in my grandmother's doorway that night. She tried to get me to go in another room, but I just hid behind her skirt because I didn't want to leave her there. I didn't know what was going to happen to her. I wanted to make sure she was going to be okay. And one of them said, "We're looking for someone." And she answered flatly, "He's not here." Now, I don't know who they were talking about, but the gentleman said, my grandmother said, "There's nobody here but me and my grandkids. He's not here." One of the gentlemen said, "I believe her. I know her. She wouldn't lie. I believe her. Let's go." We never told my father about that night. And we never talked about it again. Later, my grandmother did tell me that she knew some of the voices behind those hoods. She knew them. And I can only imagine the same thing happened in 1921. They knew them. They knew who was killing them and taking their homes. They knew them. Who do I know might try to kill me and take my home someday?
Wait. That is just slightly dramatic. Remember, you're gonna be dragged out of your home in the middle of the night by a white man in a hood. That's highly unlikely.
No, you're right. You're right. But it'll be a little more civilized than that. I received a notice in the mail saying that due to urban renewal, or railroad tracks that are being laid, or a highway that can't be built no place else, or a university, or a ballpark, that my land is now no longer my own and I must vacate.
move further north.
Where exactly is North Tulsa located these days?
North of Apple, now the TU has moved to 11th Street.
North of 244?
Where's Tulsa? That's north of 244.
Where's the latest shooting been? That's where they usually say that North Tulsa is.
Right.
But isn't there more shootings in East Tulsa and in Broken Arrow?
Yeah. I heard about that too.
Tour, let's go this way. In 1944, the word genocide was coined after the Holocaust. Raphael Lincoln thought that a word needed to be invented to talk about what was happening. It was not murder or even a massacre. It was genocide, a wiping out of a culture of people.
Oh my gosh, this is so ridiculous. It's not the Holocaust. It was two streets.
Right, 2 streets.
Africans were rich. Rich in culture, in spirit, in tradition. After slavery, before 21, little Africa was rich. Even white people could see it. Our community was defined by our wealth, our culture. Now it looks like our culture has been wiped out.
35 blocks of black people. Black, wealthy people. Getting along, helping each other. Black Wall Street, Tulsa. On its way to becoming the first black state in the nation. 1921 wiped all that out.
Definition: genocide. The intentional killing of a group of people based on a color, race, and religion.
I hope if you write a play about it, about Tulsa, it's about unity.
Can I be honest? I've been thinking about those women that were up on the hill the night of the burning, taking pictures with their children. It makes me sick. It really does. I'm white and I can't think of doing that. I mean, but if you would ask them in 1921 if they were to be a plantation mistress and beat their slaves, I bet you they'd say no. I'm sure of it. But here I am saying the same thing, and that couldn't be any better, right? Stole their belongings, sold them. They wouldn't do it. But here I am saying the same thing, and would that really make a difference? But you know, it just really scares me. It scares me to think. Would I have been up there too?
I have a daughter. I'm a single mother. Dad's in the picture, you know, when he wants to be. He doesn't pay child support. He's with whatever guy, with the other woman or whatever have you. I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher in Oklahoma. So you know what kind of money I make. I live below the poverty line. I cannot even get student care. But I know it's awful to say, the parents of the Hispanic kids that I teach can. Now, I don't want to think that I could be one of those women up on that hill, but I know how it feels to desperately need money. And I'm not saying that they don't deserve to belong here, and I'm not one of those people. But when I see them get something that I can't, it makes me angry. I don't like that it does, but it does.
We are only inches away of becoming what we hate.
My husband's not in the Klan. We don't belong to any group. My husband is not the type to just go up to someone at work and talk about this group or that event. My husband is the type of man who has to be noticed first and then invited. I've tried to encourage him to put himself out out there. And that's a conversation that goes dark real fast. So something happened to him that night when our neighbor came over and put that shotgun in his hand. And he said, "You're coming with us." And he looks at me and he says, "Come on." And I can't tell you how that felt. He wanted me with him. And I know how that sounds, but you asked for the truth. And that's the truth. And I didn't know where we were going, but I didn't care. I knew what was going on down in Little Africa. I knew. And so we went up to that hill, and it was hot, and the sun was coming up, and I've never seen so much fire. And the people down below, well, they looked like little toy soldiers. And I thought, is this how they did it in Europe? They keep their enemies so far away that they look like not people anymore. And then I thought to myself, here I am, right beside the shooters, beside my husband, and I stayed far away from the people below, so they didn't look like people anymore.
Are you okay?
Too close to home.
Which way?
Every way. Sure, let's go this way.
The shooting and burning stopped around noontime on June 1st, 1921, after the Oklahoma National Guard got into town and put things in order.
Excuse me, why didn't the local law enforcement try to stop it?
Good question.
Were they KKK? I heard that the Tulsa government was corrupted. Many of them were KKK.
Well, I can't make that claim, but there was a lot of talk about conspiracies of lies and cover-ups that led to the whole thing being a planned attack. Back to June 1st. White residents marched blacks at gunpoint down the street to Convention Hall. Today, that building is known as the Brady Theater.
Wait, after Tate Brady? Now I know he was KKK. They've proven that.
Are you telling me that we have a theater named after KKK? Down with Brady, 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 down with Brady. June was great. June was great. Down with Brady. Down with Brady.
Oppressive ways of the Ku Klux Klan. We're peacefully asking that again the name be changed.
But what would you like the name to be?
Anything but Tate Brady. This man Tate Brady is responsible for our people being massacred overnight, our homes being destroyed. To this day, no reparations have been paid out.
None at all.
It's been done. The least you can do is change his name from a name that represents hatred and racism.
What are you going to say to the business owners that have to change their address?
This name is a blight of all of Tulsa. Anybody should be ashamed to live in this street, much less have a business on here that represents an evil man.
Peter Mayo.
Down with Brady. Down with Brady.
I brought this theater in 1978. It was run down, it was called the Municipal Theater. I don't know where the name of the street Brady came from. Had it been on Archer, it'd have been called Archer Theater. But it was Brady.
Well, are you willing to change the name of your theater, Mr. Mayo?
Oh, dude, I'd rather not. I mean, you know, I'm all for democracy and letting the people speak. But here's the deal. If you rename it, The theater's gonna have to be called, you know, the something name, otherwise known as the Brady. People like Annie Vetter knows it as the Brady.
He'll be okay.
It'll be confusing. It'll be a pain.
Change that name.
The Tulsa City Council voted 7-1 today to change the name of Brady Street. By not changing the name of Brady Street. Instead, the theater will be named after M.B. Brady, the Civil War photographer who has no ties to Tulsa whatsoever. Despite the voices that came out to speak on the change of the name in a 40-7 ratio, the City Council offered this as a compromise.
Why don't you call it Tom Brady and the Brady Bunch?
They want to keep this name up because why?
Because some white person doesn't want to change their marketing?
Right.
Do they know they're in there where our blood was spilled?
Exactly.
Where our businesses once did?
Yeah.
It's a shame Tulsa can't be more brave.
Yeah, I've been in prison. Yeah. You want to stereotype me? Go ahead. But you grow up here. You go to schools, you get taught by white teachers that you were slaves. How you gonna live with that? You can't act out. You can't ask questions. You can't even negotiate with the teachers because they think you're less than they are. How you gonna live? How you gonna breathe? Cannot go to school, right? Teachers were taught to be scared of you all their lives. Been thinking that you really don't care, or you're really not that smart. Like seriously, what you been taught about us?
Dear Charlie, thank you for being a friend to my family years ago. I am so sorry that we used the term nigger and pickaninny. I know it was the usual terminology for that point in time, but it was wrong, and I am thankful for the opportunity to apologize. Thank the Lord those days are over.
I never told my dad this, but this one day I missed the bus to school. So me and my friend, we walked to school, and we're about a block away from school, and this cop car pulls up and asks us why we're not in school. School started, what are you doing out here? On my way to school, sir, not leaving it.
Right.
So they put us in the back of their car, and there's these two white girls back there already. They were actually cutting school. Car drove them to school, so I'm thinking they're taking us all there.
Right.
But they got the white girls out, made them go back to school, and they drive us to juvie. I ain't lying. The only day I ever spent in juvie was because of the police. Whatever. Point is, I don't know what the point is. I guess the point is, I never told my dad. I was afraid of what he might do.
Dear Sonia, I have a beautiful African-American great-grandchild now. I can't wait till she starts having children of her own. Maybe this will help repair the past.
I was afraid he'd rub at those police like I knew he would and be taken back to prison.
I learned everything in prison what I had not learned in school. I learned about our culture. I learned about our history. I learned about Africa. I learned about Jesus' real skin color. How about that? But when I got out, I could not find the support of my family no matter how hard I tried. Prison changes you. It's like once you're out, you're out. But everyone doesn't make it out, even when you're out. You know what I'm saying?
I've been in prison more than once. Kind of comes with the territory, being a black man.
My son is 13 years old, and he's tall. And from behind, he looks like a grown man. And this is the moment I've been dreading since he was born. And when they put him in my arms and they said, "It's a boy."
Dear Nachi, it's been over 50 years since I've seen you. I don't even know if you're dead or alive. But I've always wished I had an opportunity to tell you what a great experience you were for me. You didn't know it, but you were my first black friend. I didn't know any black people growing up and didn't know how to act. But I am so glad to have had you as a friend among the wives of our precious Air Force bandmen. What a fun person and so talented you were. You taught me how to pluck my eyebrows correctly. I never let you know it, but I loved you. And I was oh so thankful you were in my life during such a lonely time. I'm sorry I never showed it.
You know, when I got out, it was hard trying to get a job. No matter how hard I tried, they always say to my application, no, 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 no. You know how hard it was for me not to go back to the life of selling drugs on the streets? White people have the ability to help out black people who've been in jail. Black men and black women who've been incarcerated.
They always say no. Black people say no. Even your family says no. Once you made a mistake, they don't want to be associated with my kind anymore. Mess up once, that's it. Once you're out, you're always out.
Dear Amari, you mean so much to me. I was never around black people much, and that is why I was nervous at first about being your crossing guard. I am sorry I acted strange. I am sorry it took a young boy like you to have to be the first one to write a note about how nice the other was. I am sorry I was not the adult. But here's my letter. Thank you for your friendship to an old white lady. It means so much to me.
I grew up always afraid my dad would be taken by the police for no reason at all.
Now I know some white folks did open the home, the doors, and stores back in 1921. I know that. And I know that black people want to do it on our own. You know? I would not be here and start my own business if a white man had not bought me a lawnmower. I mean, now I do it on my own. But you know how we are. We want to do everything on our own. And a lot of people would not be here if they had not opened their homes up to our great-great-grandparents back in the day. I mean, I don't like it any more than you do. But we gotta tell the truth, right? Gotta tell the story.
If you write a play about this, I hope it's about unity.
Group tour, let's go this way. Okay, everyone over here. We have the whole group. The day after the massacre, B.C. Franklin set up a law office in the town. He filed suits and insurance claims totaling over $2 million for Greenwood residents. He later set up offices on Greenwood right outside this building.
So you're saying that the insurance companies reimburse the people for all their losses?
No. Since the the city of Tulsa officially named the event a riot, the insurance companies did not have to pay out. In 1923, the courts declared the blacks were responsible for the massacre. So, since the Greenwood residents were named as the culprits in their own massacre, the insurance companies and the city fell off the hook for any payment.
Oh, wow.
That sounds about right.
But surely, the Insurance Commission of 2001 did something.
Right.
Governor Frank Keating of Oklahoma gave all of the survivors and the descendants a gold coin with the seal of Oklahoma.
It probably wasn't even real gold.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let nobody, ain't gonna let me around, not turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.
I'm scared to be the next Black Wall Street. What if white people could kill us again? I'm scared to be the next Black Wall Street. What if white people come kill us again?
No, you have to remember what happened next. We rebuilt it. Now we will be the ones who rebuilt Black Wall Street. Did we rebuild it?
Yeah, my grandma said that there was a whole new one in the 1950s, bigger than the one the white people destroyed. What happened to that one? Highway got put on top of it.
I'm gonna own my own shop. I'm gonna call it TJ's Auto Repair Shop. I might save you up for it now.
I'm gonna own a donut shop. People will call me Donuts already. I'm working on my special recipe.
I want to be a teacher and teach everyone about the massacre, but also about the rebuilding.
I don't want to stay here in Tulsa. White people are rude, but not because they mean to be rude. They don't even know they are.
Like what you mean?
I mean in school, I get bumped or accidentally hit, and I just want to stop and say, hey, you just bumped me. Are you going to say sorry?
So why didn't you?
One time I did, and this one girl looked at me like she had no idea she did anything. Really, she didn't. She had no idea. She never saw me and didn't feel me when she bumped me. I was invisible. I think that discovery was worse than finding her, so I don't say anything anymore.
White people aren't that invisible anymore. When we built the Black Wall Street,
Our names will be in the business papers, and our pictures will be in the papers.
yeah, it has to be blocks and blocks and blocks of black businesses. Black people can come there and feel safe.
I want to run a hair salon.
Car wash. How do we rebuild it? I don't know how to run a business.
We'll have to talk to some black people who run businesses now. They'll tell us what to do.
Yeah. And when we're older, we can work for them and they'll train us how to be just like them.
Yeah, when we die, we can take over.
I wish there was as many black businesses now as there were in 1921. Then we'd have a lot of black people to learn from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I moved here from Texas about 5 years ago. I don't have a lot to add. I can see that. I just felt like it's been 5 years since I've been in Tulsa. That feels too long to know nothing about this history.
The Tulsa attitude of the black man is to build and rebuild.
If you write a story about this, it would be nice for people to hear it. We're not interested in reparations. We just want people to hear it.
I'm bypassing the urge to cry today.
Doorbell rings one night. Policeman standing there. Nightmare of every American black woman. Husband dead, they said. I don't remember much about that night, but I know that I let out a scream so loud that the neighbors could hear me. And when I think about that scream now, I can still feel it.
Tonight, as I write, and I think about Tulsa then, and the Tulsa of June 1st, my eyes well with tears, and my soul cries for justice. Oh, America, thou land of the free and home of the brave, how long will you let my violence reign supreme?
We no longer love ourselves, so we don't pass down our history.
I returned to the ashes. And I later purchased a chair, a strap, and I started my barber shop again.
You know, you write a play about this. It'd be really good to have the screams from that night, but really, I don't think that's possible. I mean, it's more than hearing it. You gotta feel it from the gut. And unless there are women here who have lost their husband to a senseless violence, like the people in 1921, that's not possible.
You know, it's like a scab. Can't heal a scab, keep picking at it.
It really feels good to just say these things. We don't really talk about trauma in our community. We just give it to the Lord and move on. But you can't get past the past until you deal with it.
More than hearing it, more than seeing it, you gotta feel it.
You know what's sad to me? What I love about Tulsa is exactly what Tulsa tries to hide. The diversity, the history, Black Wall Street. How cool is it that our city has a history of Black entrepreneurship, rebuilding, and community support? We should shout that to the world.
Would be nice to have the truth be told and heard. Maybe feel a little bit lighter. My house was taken by a tornado while I was in it, hid in the tub. People didn't believe me when I told them. They said it was just too unbelievable to happen because their house down the road was untouched. I had to show them pictures. And even still, they thought I docked them up because they said it was just so unbelievable. But that's the worst feeling. When you're telling the truth and they think you're lying about the worst tragedy in your life.
The truth shall set you free. I think I heard that somewhere.
Oh, that's the quote I keep forgetting.
When I was driving to Nigeria, I realized that I didn't have to look in the rearview mirror for the police. As I moved around my hometown, I realized that nobody was following me because I was black. I felt my body relax like never before.
She had not known the way until she felt the freedom. That's the quote from the Scarlet Letter that made sense to me.
I never realized how living in Tulsa really made me feel. Must have been after slaves fell.
That's the quote.
I had to pull over and weep.
Well, I'm always going to think of it as booming Greenwood. Now, we can talk about riot or massacre or whatnot, but for me, it's always gonna be booming Greenwood. That's how I learned about it, and since I lived it, even if it was just in class, hey, I felt it. I was Black Wall Street, and so were white kids. I mean, and they remember it because of that too. Booming Greenwood. We were all black. We were all Black Wall Street.